The Munger Almanac, the one principle the rich use to get richer. Have you ever looked at a rich person's life and wondered, what's their secret? We're told it's about hard work, making smart investments, and getting a little bit of luck. But if that were the whole truth, wouldn't more people be getting rich? The truth is, the advice you get from most financial gurus is incomplete. They'll tell you what to do: buy this stock, start this business, follow this trend, but they never tell you the most important part of the equation. What they don't do, what they avoid at all costs. This is the simple but profound secret of Charlie Munger. For decades, he and Warren Buffett didn't just focus on finding great companies. They focused on avoiding the mistakes that would destroy their wealth. They understood a fundamental psychological truth, that getting rich is not about what you acquire, but about what you choose to ignore. You see, the poor and the middle class are constantly being sold the same lie, that the path to wealth is through acquisition. They are told to buy more, spend more, and follow every new financial fad. But Munger knew that this kind of thinking is a trap. He discovered a single overarching principle that separates those who accumulate wealth from those who stay stuck in a cycle of debt and disappointment. It's a principle so powerful that once you understand it, you'll start to see the world of finance with a clarity you never had before. This video won't give you a stock tip. It won't tell you to start a new business. It will give you something far more valuable, the single mental principle that the rich use to get richer and that the poor use to get poorer. It's a truth so simple, it's almost invisible. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Part 1. The Consumer's Trap and the Problem of Acquisition. Most people believe wealth is about having things: a bigger house, a nicer car, the latest smartphone. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us that these acquisitions are a sign of success. This is the consumer's trap. Our brains are wired for acquisition. It's a remnant of our evolutionary past, where acquiring resources meant survival. But in the modern world, this instinct has been hijacked by a relentless marketing machine. We've been programmed to believe that happiness and success can be bought with the swipe of a credit card. And the more we buy, the more debt we accumulate. This is the fundamental difference between the rich and the poor. The poor and middle class focus on acquiring consumer goods. The rich focus on acquiring assets. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket, like a stock, a piece of real estate that generates rent, or a business that produces income. A consumer good is something that takes money out of your pocket, like a new car that depreciates in value, or a gadget that becomes obsolete in a year. The consumer's trap is a psychological one. It's the instant gratification of a new purchase, the temporary high of showing off something new. And it's a trap Munger and Buffett avoided at all costs. When asked about his investment philosophy, Charlie Munger always had a simple, two-part answer. It wasn't about buying great stocks or predicting the future. It was about a foundational principle that most people ignore. Let's hear his golden rule from him directly. You see, it's not a joke. He's deadly serious. The first rule is about not doing stupid things. It's the ultimate form of discipline, and it's the bedrock of the entire principle of delay. By not making mistakes, you allow the incredible power of compounding to work for you, uninterrupted. Munger often spoke about the man in the treadmill, the person who works harder and harder just to maintain a lifestyle of consumerism. They are trapped in a cycle of working for money to pay for things they don't truly need, all because they mistake acquisition for wealth. They are convinced that the next purchase will finally bring them peace, but it only reinforces their dependency on a paycheck. They are running faster and faster, but they are staying in the same place. Munger knew this was the road to ruin, and he refused to walk down it. He understood that this is a game you can't win, and the only way to succeed is to not play at all. Let's dive into the psychology of this. Munger would call this phenomenon the hedonic treadmill. It's a concept from psychology that says humans have a natural tendency to return to a baseline level of happiness, regardless of major positive or negative events. In the context of consumerism, this means that the thrill of a new purchase, a new car, a new phone, a new watch is fleeting. You get a temporary spike in happiness, but within a few weeks or months, the novelty wears off, and you're left with the same level of contentment you had before. Except now, you have more debt and less money. The person on the consumer's treadmill is constantly chasing this temporary high, believing that the next purchase will be the one that finally makes them happy. But Munger's genius was realizing that the only way to win this game is to get off the treadmill completely. He understood that true, lasting happiness comes from an internal sense of purpose and from the freedom that comes with financial independence, not from the fleeting joy of a new possession. Part 2. The Munger Principle, the principle of delay. The one principle that separates the rich from the poor is the principle of delay. It's a counterintuitive idea, a form of inversion. Most people ask, "What can I buy to be happy now?" Munger would ask, "What can I avoid buying now to be wealthy later?" This is a subtle but earth-shattering shift in thinking. Another mental model at the heart of Munger's wisdom is inversion. Most people in life try to figure out what they need to do to succeed. Munger's genius was to invert the problem and ask, "What must I do to fail?" By systematically identifying and avoiding what leads to failure, such as irrational behavior, envy, or ignoring disconfirming evidence, he believed success would almost inevitably follow. It's like a doctor asking, "How can my patient get well?" versus, "How could my patient get sick?" The second question is often more illuminating. So when you're tempted to buy a new car you can't afford, don't ask, "How can I justify this purchase?" Instead, ask, "What are all the terrible things that will happen to me if I buy this car?" This inverted thinking forces you to confront the negative consequences head on, giving you the clarity and discipline to stick to the principle of delay. The rich understand that true wealth is not about what you have, but about what you don't have. They don't have high-interest credit card debt. They don't have new cars on expensive loans. They don't have a lifestyle that requires a massive, unyielding income just to maintain. They practice the principle of delay. This principle is a form of self-discipline, a rejection of instant gratification. It's the ability to say no to a small, immediate pleasure in order to gain a massive, long-term reward. This principle allows them to take the money they would have spent on consumer goods and invest it in assets that generate more money. This is the difference between working for your money and having your money work for you. Munger and Buffett are famous for their frugal lifestyles. Buffett, for example, has lived in the same house he bought in 1958 for a fraction of what it's worth today. Munger lived in a modest home for decades. They understood that the money they saved today would be worth exponentially more tomorrow. They were masters of the principle of delay. They didn't feel the need to broadcast their success through material possessions. Their ego didn't require external validation. This principle isn't just theory. It's a practice Munger and Buffett lived. Think about their early investments. When they were building Berkshire Hathaway, they had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to buy a stake in a small, struggling textile company. Most investors would have dismissed it, but they applied the principle of delay. They didn't rush in. They analyzed it for years. They held on to a seemingly worthless company for far longer than anyone thought was rational. They had the patience to wait for the business to transform, to find its true value. Their success wasn't built on a series of rapid-fire, brilliant decisions. It was built on the discipline of waiting, on having the wisdom to say the best thing we can do today is nothing. This is an idea that goes against everything the modern world teaches us. The world tells us to act now, to strike while the iron is hot. Munger and Buffett prove that sometimes the most powerful action is no action at all. This is where we must talk about what Munger called incentive cost bias. It's one of his most powerful mental models, and he believed it explained a great deal of human behavior, both in business and in life. To understand it, we should hear from the man himself. As you can see, Munger's wisdom on incentives isn't just about money. It's about understanding the core drivers of human nature. By applying this mental model, you can begin to see the world not as it is, but as it is driven by hidden incentives. They knew that true success was a quiet, internal game of delayed gratification and not a loud public display of consumption. This is the ultimate form of discipline. It's the ability to see a future self that is wealthy and secure, and to make decisions today that serve that future self, not your immediate, impulsive one. Part 3. The actionable checklist to apply this principle. So, how do you apply the principle of delay in your own life? It's not about being cheap. It's about being strategic. Here is a simple checklist to guide your decisions. Checklist item 1. Invert your purchases. Before you buy something you don't need, ask yourself, what will this purchase cost me in 10 years? This forces you to think about the opportunity cost of every dollar you spend. That $5 coffee every day isn't just $1,825 a year. It's potentially thousands of dollars in compounding interest that you'll never see. But let's go deeper. That new phone you buy every 2 years for $1,000? That's not just $1,000. Invested at a conservative 8% annual return, that's over $2,100 in 10 years. This simple mental inversion makes the true cost of your spending painfully clear and gives you the discipline to choose the long-term gain over the short-term pleasure. Checklist item 2. The 30-day rule. If you want to buy a non-essential item, wait 30 days. If you still want it after 30 days, buy it. This gives your emotional brain time to cool down and allows your rational brain to take over. Most of the time, the desire to purchase will fade, and you'll save yourself from a costly, impulsive mistake. This rule works because it separates your emotional, immediate desire from your long-term, rational goals. It puts a circuit breaker between your impulse and your wallet, a key Munger-like tactic. Checklist item 3. The asset first rule. Never spend on a luxury until you have first invested in an asset. Make it a rule that for every dollar you spend on a consumer good, you must first invest $2 in a stock, a business, or real estate. This inverts your natural instinct and forces you to prioritize wealth creation over wealth consumption. This rule turns your spending from a destructive habit into a productive one. It makes you an investor first and a consumer second. This is a subtle psychological trick that Munger mastered, and it can change your financial life forever. Checklist item 4. Study your own mistakes. Keep a journal of your bad financial decisions. Write down every time you bought something you regretted, or every time you took on bad debt. This is the Munger-like habit of learning from your mistakes. By studying your own failures, you will be able to spot your own behavioral patterns and avoid them in the future. Don't just learn from your victories, learn from your losses. They are your most valuable teachers. This brings us to a new rule, a 5th item for your checklist. Checklist item 5. The opportunity cost of your time. The principle of delay isn't just about money. It's about your most valuable asset, time. Before you commit to a new project, a new hobby, or even a new relationship, ask yourself, what will this cost me in terms of my time and attention? Munger was a master of this. He said he was paid for what he didn't do. He avoided meetings, unnecessary work, and distractions that would take him away from the few high-leverage activities that truly mattered. Most people fill their lives with noise because they are afraid of the silence. But Munger knew that it's in the silence, in the space you create by saying no to distractions, that you find the opportunity to make your most valuable moves. Checklist item 6. The what would Munger do rule. Before making a significant financial decision, ask yourself, what would Charlie Munger do? This is the ultimate mental model. It forces you to remove your emotions from the equation and think with a rational, long-term perspective. It's a shortcut to wisdom and a powerful tool for avoiding the common pitfalls of your own biases. This leads us to a final, crucial point. Munger believed that patience is a strategic advantage. In a world obsessed with instant results and the hustle culture, a person with extreme patience has an unfair advantage. The average investor is constantly trying to time the market, to find the next hot stock, to get rich quickly. This short-term thinking leads to impulsive decisions, high FEs, and ultimately, poor returns. Munger and Buffett, on the other hand, made a handful of great decisions over their entire careers. They bought businesses and held them for decades. Their success wasn't due to constant activity. It was due to a few well-thought-out moves and the incredible patience to let compounding work its magic. They were masters of waiting. They understood that in life, as in investing, the race is not always to the swift, but to the wise and the patient. This kind of patience requires a total rejection of the consumer's trap and a complete embrace of the principle of delay. This is the single most powerful principle you can adopt. It's not about working harder. It's about thinking smarter. It's about using the principle of delay to build a defensive strategy against financial ruin. Don't let yourself be a victim of the hustle culture lie anymore. Don't just work hard, work with purpose. And the first step is to learn to think differently. The Munger Almanac is more than just a channel. It's a guide to wisdom. We believe that true success comes not from what you know, but from what you choose to do, or, in Munger's case, what you choose not to do. This is the secret that will change your life, and it's the secret that will change the way you think about success forever.